welcome. Thank you for coming to what a wonderful night and a wonderful setting on probably the nicest day of the week. So kudos to everyone who ordered this up. It is my job to start us off and give a little bit of thank yous. First, thank you to Longview Mansion and staff for helping us host this event in such a beautiful setting and providing the delicious treats. Thank you to Licata Flowers for the lovely floral arrangements, and again, the Longview Mansion for the delicious treats. We appreciate your partnerships. Also want to thank you to Lee Summit Chamber of Commerce and its Education Committee for continuing to partner with us to celebrate teachers and excellence in education. And I want to thank our R7 Board of Education members who volunteer hundreds of hours on an annual basis to support these teachers and their students. I'm going to recognize the board members. I think I have 3 here currently. So if they'll stand when I call their name: President Ryan Murdoch, Board Member Kim Fritchie, and Board Member Mike Allen. Now, before we get to the real reason we're here, let's invite up next Laura Maxwell, who I want to give another thank you. So I have a little speech they gave to me to read, and this is off the cuff. This is Laura's last year running this, and she does an amazing job, and I can't thank her enough, not just for the weather, but for all she does to support our teachers and the huge success our Teachers of the Years have in the state competition. So thank you, Laura Maxwell. And without further ado, as she comes up, she's going to explain some more.
Thank you so much, Dr. Buck. This is indeed one of the very favorite parts of my role in the district. And we do need to take just a moment to recognize a very special person in the audience, and that is Mr. Matthew Ketuman. If you would please go ahead and stand, wave to everyone. And then come up here for just a moment, sir. Those of you who have attended this event previously know that we have, until today, been inside under the pavilion, and we've often had up to... So it's worth checking out that video if you haven't seen it. But when you think about last year and how weird it was, there was a lot about last year that was just like normal. The Teacher of the Year that was recognized and selected was incredible. Incredible in the eyes of his colleagues, incredible in the eyes of his principal and administrative staff, and in the eyes of our selection committee. As Dr. Buck said, we have a very rich heritage in Lee Summit of sending people on to the state Teacher of the Year competition and then performing very well. And I get to know those people really well because we write a lot of essays together, which he's going to nod and smile and pretend like that was a fun experience.
Great.
It's great.
It's great.
But when we started that journey, we didn't know what that would end up entailing for that year. And so what ended up happening, as we all know, was that not only did he represent us well and make it through as a regional semifinalist for Missouri Teacher of the Year, he went on to become one of 7 finalists for State Teacher of the Year. That's a huge deal, you guys. Let's give him a round of applause. Oh, don't go to work. We so wish that your celebration could have included the huge crowd and the screaming audience as your name was announced. And we could all scream right now if you'd like.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Hey! And he was our 11th state finalist, which is awesome. So on behalf of the district, this is a good part, your party, and we are so grateful for you. We're glad that your family and your friends are here to celebrate you, and we have a small token of appreciation for all you've done for our district. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Naga. Thank you.
So I will kind of skim through this next part because this information is included on the back of your program, but I think it's important to recognize the heritage of the 2 recognitions we're about to share with folks today. About 25 years ago, our Lee Summit Chamber of Commerce was running a program that it called Excellence in Teaching, and they would select 10 folks each year to recognize as Excellence in Teaching recipients. And they did that for a number of years, and then the district, which was concurrently running its Teacher of the Year program, in reflection of the partnership that our chamber and district have long enjoyed, decided to combine those. And so our Excellence in Teaching recipients each year go on to become finalists for Teacher of the Year. So we do have 3 folks here today, though, who are Teachers of Distinction. So what's that mean? Well, that means those folks were nominated previously and received Excellence in Teaching awards. They're still doing amazing things in the classroom. They're still powerful teachers, and so they were nominated again this year and selected from a pool of about 15 folks, also former Excellence in Teaching recipients, who were nominated again this year. They have to show evidence of professional growth, and so for someone to have been named an Excellence in Teaching recipient, it's a huge honor. To come back and be named a Teacher of Distinction is an additional recognition of that academic excellence. Our Chamber's Education Committee is the group who selects these individuals, and I would like to take just a moment and recognize them. If you were part of this year's selection team and our Education Committee, would you please stand? As evidence of their dedication and the excellence of the people we're celebrating today, I would also offer up that they read over 800 pages of nomination application information and spent about 8 hours on Monday interviewing each of these candidates. So, daunting task. They did a fabulous job. Okay, in just one more moment, we'll get to the good stuff, I promise. We would like to say that we have some awesome bling for our recipients today. They receive a plaque indicating their Excellence in Teaching Award. There's a resolution from state legislator. And due to the generosity of our friends John and Julie Ellis, who had our district in a variety of ways for a number of years, and opted to honor Dr. Bud Herzog for all of his work in our community and our district, the teachers here today will also be receiving a classroom grant. So without further ado, thank you to our Excellence in Teaching and Teacher of Distinction candidates. We are deeply grateful for all you do. And now it's time for what you've been so patiently waiting for. I'd like to welcome Matt Baird from the Lee Summit Chamber of Commerce, President, and Dr. David Buck, our R7 Superintendent, and they are going to share information about each candidate with you.
Thank you, Laura. Let's give Laura a round of applause. She really does an amazing thing. So recipients, when we call your name, we'd like you to come forward and stand next to us on our side. We are live streaming this event, so stay on this side. I'm not trying to block me from the camera, but we will make sure the camera sees you. And then we're going to share a bit of information about you. We're going to introduce you, then we're going to read a quote that you provided, then we're going to share some more information about you, and then we'll share a quote from a person who nominated you. Then after we finish that, we'll say your name once more, give you an applause. You'll come down the side, and we have up here Ben and Rick are going to give you some of this bling, as I think the term is used. Okay, and then you can go back down to your seats. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. And Matt and I will kind of go back and forth, taking turns, and I get to start off. So our first recipient, we're going by alphabetical order on last name, is Jennifer Angotti. So Jennifer, if you can come forward. Jennifer teaches 3rd grade at Greenwood Elementary. She has spent her entire life, you have to come over here, the camera needs to see you. She spent her entire life at Lee Summit School District, including her K-12 education. GWE is home to her as she has taught there for her 10 years with the district, spending time teaching both 1st and 3rd grades. Jennifer says, quote, "My philosophy is to challenge every child to find his or her path to succeed in a supportive and nurturing way. For some, we are here to enhance a broad level of support, academic and emotional, that is already in place. And others, we're the child's lifeline and support." Very well said. Ms. Angotti has served as representative on a number of building and district committees and started a STEM club at GWE where students could meet for new friends and show off their engineering skills. She also created the New Friend Friday program at GWE's Family Learning Night so families could come for a night of hands-on learning. Each year, Jennifer also assists current and former students in hand-making scarves for the homeless in downtown Kansas City. That's awesome. One of Jennifer's nominators said, "Ms. Angotti is amazing. She has made the seemingly impossible transition to the virtual learning a breeze for these children. In a chaotic world, I am so thankful she is my child's teacher. She is a gift." Jennifer Angotti. You bet. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
All right. Amy Dunning, will you please come up? Amy Dunning. Amy Dunning is a 6th grade online academy teacher at Hazel Grove Elementary this year. She's been with the district 11 years, however. Amy's career spans 27 years, including time as a librarian and working with at-risk students. Amy says every single student deserves a place to feel safe and accepted, and that place must always be my classroom. Whether it is a trailer on the playground, a small room in a 70-year-old building, an innovative learning space in a sparkly new building, or a computer in a sea of chaos at home, what I provide most must be consistency, acceptance, and a love of learning. Mrs. Dunning serves the community as an after-school tutor for town center students, along with serving meals through Coldwater. She's a math workshop cadre and lab teacher and has been a curriculum writer for all subjects. Amy has mentored many future teachers throughout her years as an educator and was honored to be a recipient of a PEAK grant. She's also been nominated previously for Teacher of the Year. One of Amy's nominators said, "We were apprehensive about putting our child in online this year, but Mrs. Dunning includes all children in her teaching, making them feel accepted and encouraged to speak in class online. She truly goes above and beyond for her students." Amy Dunning.
Congratulations, Amy. If I could have Melissa Finiseth come up. Melissa is a speech-language pathologist for parents as teachers and Great Beginnings Early Education Center. Melissa has called LSR7 home for 25 of her 27 years in education and started as a speech-language pathologist at Parents as Teachers, which was a new position funded by an anonymous donor. She has also served LSR7 students at families at MLE, HPE, PLE, WLE, SLMS. She's going to get them all if we keep going. Melissa says, "I am a strong believer of early intervention presented in a play-based therapy approach with an emphasis on parent involvement. I love helping teach parents how to implement speech and language strategies for their children." Melissa has developed a TALK talk group as a pilot program and has served on many literacy-related committees at various schools. Melissa has presented at numerous districts, local, state, and international conferences and workshops on the subject of speech and language, and has served as both vice president and president of the National Student Speech and Language Hearing Association. That's just awesome. She was recognized as a Graduate Clinician of the Year and has been a PEAK grant recipient 3 times. One of her nominators said, "The early intervention by Melissa has paved the way for my boys to have academic success. I will forever be thankful for the help and success provided our family through speech and language." Melissa Finiseth.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheryl Gurkey. Cheryl is in her 7th year of teaching kindergarten at Lee Summit Elementary, but her teaching career spans 33 years and includes experiences in special education, speech therapy, and gifted education at a number of schools and grade levels. Cheryl believes relationships are the foundation of a successful learning environment. She says, "I teach for the aha moments, the hugs, the toothless smiles, and the many I love yous. I teach with high standards and set high expectations. I love teaching kids, but more importantly, I love reaching kids." Mrs. Gurkey is a proud recipient of a PEAK grant and has been a cooperating teacher for the cadet teaching program for 3 years and an A+ mentor teacher for 6 years. She enjoys assisting the LSC PTA as a teacher representative and is a facilitator of the Culture Club Committee, which develops building-wide culture and lifts staff morale. Her nominator said, Mrs. Gurkey has a way of connecting with each and every child in her room, and she impacts our staff as well. If LSC had a class president and homecoming queen all in one, it would be Cheryl. She is the spark of our staff. She is one that ignites and inspires enthusiasm. Cheryl Gurkey.
Our next recipient, Sarah Hughes. Sarah Hughes is a board-certified behavior analyst, and I believe I was there when it was announced. It was kind of an exciting time, and works at Miller Park Center as a transition teacher, which she has taught for 7 years. Sarah states, quote, I feel blessed to have been able to build the flight program from the ground up. I love being able to provide services for students who are at some of the most vulnerable times of their lives, and I believe there is no limit to the accomplishments a child is capable of achieving. It's awesome. Mrs. Hughes is involved in the community partnerships with families through the Lee Summit Police Department, Rediscover, therapeutic treatment programs, and social services agencies. She enjoys leading beautification projects at Miller Park, including helping with the development plans for MPC's campus playground. She has been a recipient of 2 PEAK grants in areas of communication and sensory resources. Sarah's nominators had this to say, quote, in addition to Sarah's normal job duties, she took on additional coursework to become a board-certified behavior analyst. She manages 13 paras and a behavior coach and serves 14 children who otherwise would not be able to be educated in Lee Summit. Sarah is highly deserving of the Teacher of the Year honors. Sarah Hughes.
Carol Hall. Come on up. Carol is a software engineer instructor at Summit Technology Academy, as well as an adjunct instructor at Metropolitan Community College, Longview campus. Her professional background also includes 30 years of experience in corporate information technology prior to transitioning into education. Carol sees her time in the classroom as an opportunity to make a profound and positive impact on her students' futures. She says, how do I know if I'm succeeding? If those days when I hear comments like, that activity really made me think, and you believe in me, it's rewarding to see students grow their technical skills, self-confidence, critical thinking, and real-world problem-solving skills. Mrs. Hall is involved in outreach recruiting activities to encourage underrepresented students to explore computer science engineering as a possible career field, and was a founding member of the Kansas City Regional Chapter of the Computer Science Teachers Association. In 2020, she received honorable mention for the Aspirations in Computing Educator Award for the Western Missouri and Kansas affiliate of the National Center for Women in Technology. One of Carol's nominators said, the hallmark of Mrs. Hall's teaching is her rapport and connection with students. She cares deeply about her students and their future, and is has demonstrated in the connection she helps with them, makes it within the industry, is set them on a path of a bright future. Carol Hall.
Before I announce the next one, we're having a change on live TV. They would now like you to stand on this side of the podium. Okay. So our next recipient is Mary Humphreys. Mary Humphreys is an English teacher at Lee Summit West and has taught in LSR7 school district for 6 of her 14 years of teaching. 2 of those 6 years were spent at Lee Summit North High School before moving west. She is also an adjunct professor just down the road here at English Department at MCC Longview. Mary states, quote, students' work, voice, and choice are always at the center of my classroom. My philosophy of teaching is that all students, when given a safe and inclusive classroom, and when given the opportunity to read, write, and think with choice, will succeed. Ms. Humphreys created the African American Read-In at LSR7 School District to honor Black student voices and literacy during African American History Month. She also created the LSR7 UCM graduate course, Invisible to Visible, Increasing LGBTQ+ Equity and Inclusivity in the Classroom, and to help teachers increase equity and inclusivity for LGBTQ plus students. Mary was chosen favorite teacher of the LSW graduating classes of not only 2019, but also 2020, and was a proud recipient of the LSW Titan Shield Award. She enjoys volunteering for the Kansas City chapter of GLSEN. One of Mary's colleagues had this to say about Mary. Quote, Mary Humphreys gives 110% to our students, our building, and our district. She is an exemplum of educators, and I am honored to work and learn from her. Congratulations, Mary Humphreys.
Ellie Lily. Ellie is a 7th grade history teacher for Summit Lakes Middle School, where she has taught since 2015, although her teaching career spans more than 24 years in 3 school districts. Ellie believes building individual relationships with kids is an ongoing goal. She says, I believe I have done my job if students at year's end remember that history is relevant and fun. The most important part of the equation is feeling they were a part of a positive learning community where all mattered and felt heard. Mrs. Lilly is proud to have established an annual Veterans Day celebration at SMLS, where 7th graders invite veterans to attend school and to be honored, sharing their experiences with students. The school has hosted over 450 veterans since 2015. Ellie has a phrase, one COVID DNA vaccine trial participant, where she has been a featured educator in several articles, including the New York Times. She also enjoys supporting and helping families navigate the uncharted waters of dyslexia diagnosis due to her own personal family experiences. A nominator said, Mrs. Lilly was so nice to me and really helped me understand history better in my 7th grade year. She makes history so much fun to learn about. Ellie Lily.
Our next recipient, Yvonne Medrano. Yvonne is currently serving as a 4th grade online academy teacher at Woodland Elementary. Go Bears. She has been in education for 17 years and during her career has taught pre-K, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 6th grades, as well as middle school math. Yvonne states, quote, students learn the best when they construct their own knowledge through exploration and discussion. Naturally, students are curious, so using student exploration as an instructional method allows students to be active contributors in the classroom, to delve into and take responsibility of their own learning. Ms. Medrano is an active member of several district committees. She took part in the LSR7 Leadership Academy and League of Visionary Educators Superintendent's Advisory. She has also served as a Teach Kansas City Teacher Ambassador for LSR7 and was honored to be a judge for the Harry S. Truman Library and Museum History Day Regional Contest of Greater Kansas City. Yvonne was also named the 2020 Educator of the Year for the entire metro area through Latinx Education Collaborative. One of Yvonne's nominators said, her patience with such a challenging situation as virtual learning is incredible. I think we hit the jackpot having Ms. Medrano teach our kid. She truly is a gift. Yvonne Medrano.
Congratulations.
Kay Rosen. Kay is a 3rd grade teacher at Cedar Creek Elementary and has been part of the LSR7 family since 2003. She began at Meadow Lane Elementary teaching 6th grade, then transferred to CCE where she has taught both 6th and 3rd grades. Kay states, first, I believe in connecting with students and parents. By developing a relationship with each student and his or her parents, I become more than a teacher. I become part of the family. Being a mom myself, I understand that children are successful when they feel safe and loved. When parents know that I love their children and want the very best of them, we become a team. Mrs. Rosen has served on both building and district levels, including as a professional learning communities coach, LSR7 Connect to Learn cohort and on the leadership team at CCE. She also established a literacy cafe at Cedar Creek, has received 13 Peak grants, and was previously nominated for Teacher of the Year. One of her former students says, "When I look back on elementary school, third grade was definitely my favorite year because Miss Rosin helped me do what I perceived as impossible. She helped me become a better version of myself and made school a fun place to learn and grow." Kay Rosin.
Our next recipient, Jennifer Stevenson. Jennifer Stevenson is a speech language pathologist at Great Beginnings Education Center and has worked in LSR7 district for 18 of her 24 years in her career. Her experience also includes working with Missouri First Steps program. Jennifer says, quote, "I believe that early intervention and parental involvement are vital to helping children with developmental delays lead productive lives. Great Beginnings is a calling for me. I have served and fallen in love with some of the most amazing preschool children and families." For 4 years, Jennifer served as the editor of the Missouri Speech Language Hearing Association publication, MSHA Link. Currently, she serves as president-elect and treasurer of the Missouri Speech Language Hearing Association and will assume the role of president for the 2021-22 school year. She has been an educational content consultant in areas of speech language pathology for Mosby's Medical Dictionary and Mosby's Dictionary of Medicine, Nursing, and Health Professions. Jennifer has also started a speech and language parent resource center in the Great Beginnings Library with funds provided by a Peak grant. One of her nominators had this to say, "Ms. Stevenson is an amazing speech teacher. The work she does with kids is truly remarkable. Now that my daughter is in kindergarten, she has tested out of the special education services in part to Ms. Stevenson's hard work and dedication to her students." Jennifer Stevenson.
Melissa Warden. Melissa is a math teacher at Lee Summit High School and is proud to have spent all of her 20-year teaching career as a member of the LSHS teaching staff and community. Melissa believes that each student placed in her math class can learn and feels that it is important to treat each student as an individual and meet them where they are academically. She says, "I want my classroom to be a place where my students feel safe and to make mistakes, enjoy learning math, and where successes are celebrated." Mrs. Warden is the math lead teacher to help create a new math course proposal that will include real world learning courses. She has co-chaired the NHS-sponsored blood drive for the past 5 years and has been a Peak grant recipient and was previously nominated for the Excellence in Teaching Award. One of Mrs. Warden's former students had this to say, "She was not only my favorite teacher, but also one of the best people I've met. I can't express how amazing Mrs. Warden is or the effect she's had on me and other students. I still don't know exactly what I want to do, but the time I've spent talking to her made me realize that I want to support and lift others up like she does every day." Melissa Warden.
Congratulations.
We will now transition to our 3 Teacher of Distinction recipients. The first one, Sarah Courtney. Sarah is a social studies teacher at Lee Summit North High School, where she has been teaching for all of her 14 years in education. Sarah believes in lifelong learning and says, quote, "I believe learning ought to be driven by a student's genuine curiosity and the process of inquiry. So it is my job to present my students with problems and questions about the past and present to consider, research, and interpret in order to reach their own conclusions." Sarah is a faculty participant in the LSR7 Chinese Culture Exchange Program and a sponsor of the NHS National Honor Society. She is proud to have received the James Madison Memorial Fellowship for Studies in Constitutional History and was a recipient of the Excellence in Teaching Award in 2016. As the nominator states this, "If you speak to Ms. Courtney for even 5 minutes, you can tell she has a true passion for social studies. She is fueling our generation's love for history and government. while also being one of the most supportive teachers I have ever had. I am so thankful for the time I have spent learning with Miss Courtney. Sarah Courtney.
Congratulations. Susan Dunham. Susan is a kindergarten teacher at Hazel Grove Elementary. She has been an LSR7 staff member for 14 years. Susan's teaching philosophy is a culmination of her beliefs. She states, creating a loving, supportive, learning community is essential within our classroom. This allows children to feel safe asking questions, make mistakes, support each other, and celebrate the accomplishments of others. There's nothing better than watching 5-year-olds encourage each other. Mrs. Dunham is a co-facilitator of HGE's leading and learning team, as well as facilitator of the school's data team. In addition, she co-facilitated the development of Studio 144, HGE's collaboration space. Susan received the Excellence in Teaching Award in 2017 and has been a proud recipient of 10 PEAK grants given by the Lee Summit Education Foundation and 4 grants awarded by the Missouri State Teachers Association. One of her nominators says this: "She taught me virtually how to use Chrome so I could help my granddaughter. She's so creative, and this year the children have learned so much. And when you can make every student think you're the favorite, you've done your job." Susan Dunham. Congratulations.
Our next recipient, Matt Good. Matt's teaching career spans 21 years, and for the past 9, he has called Lee Summit West High School home, teaching debate and advanced debate, although he also has taught English 2, French 1, communications, and competitive dramatics. Mr. Good believes relationships are the most important component of his classroom, and he states, "Students know they belong to the debate family and that they are uniquely important to me as their teacher. This focus on relationship does much of the hard work for building rigor. When students feel valued, they are willing to take academic and social risks because they are comfortable in my classroom." Matt was a recipient of the 2020 Ralph E. Carey Award for Career Services from the National Speech and Debate Association and received the 2015 Wayne Brown Outstanding Teacher Award from the Speech Theater Association of Missouri. He was honored as the National Federal of High School Outstanding Speech Debate Theater Educator of the State of Missouri in 2012 and is a 4-diamond coach in the National Speech and Debate Association. Mr. Good received the Excellence in Teaching Award in 2017. One of Matt's nominators states, "I think the biggest accomplishment I've recognized in Mr. Good is his candor, humor, and his ability to connect with each student and parent. He is simply a very cool guy who cares deeply about his students and department." Matt Good. Well, I think all of you who are recognized here are cool guys and gals. I think you've done an amazing job. I can tell you that education every single year for a kid is incredibly important. I see that not only as an educator myself, but as a parent of 3 daughters. And I can't thank you enough for everything you do, especially after these last 15 months. These last 15 months are still just as important as the other years, but there was a lot more complexity for us. And so I thank you and everybody else who's back home who also is an educator for wading through that on behalf of our kids. Our kids benefited from you, so thank you. Now, let's give all these great teachers one more round of applause. And even though she didn't write it in the speech she gave me, I would like to recognize Laura Maxwell once again for doing such a great job. Laura Maxwell. As evidenced by their impressive resume, selecting just one of these individuals as the 2021 Teacher of the Year was a daunting task. Our students and our community are fortunate to have each of them, and one would be an outstanding representative of the Lee Summit community in the Missouri State Teacher of the Year competition. The 2021 Teacher of the Year will compete at the regional level, and in addition to the Herzog Award, will receive a $100 Kathy Paulson Heart to Heart Award, funded by the Lauren Paulson family. Kathy loved education and for years provided a gift anonymously to the Teacher of the Year. When she passed away, her husband Lauren and daughters Tara, Tiffany, and Tony decided to perpetuate Kathy's generosity by establishing the Kathy Paulson Heart to Heart Fund through Lee Summit Education Foundation. We thank them for their continued generosity. So without further ado, and I have no idea what that's going to say, and they've practiced to make sure it's not upside down, here's Mr. Smetana and Mr. Martin. Are you guys ready? I can't see. Hey! Matt, can you come forward, please? So Matt, I have an envelope to present to you, and also I'll give you the mic if you'd like to say a few words. I heard you're a really cool guy, so.
Yeah. Thank you. I was not expecting that to the extent that I nearly rolled down the hill. Thank you to Mr. Ketuman. I know as the father of 3 boys at Longview Farm, what an awesome job you do. But I'll tell everybody, if you saw his video last year, don't get your hopes up. Okay. I love my job. It does not feel like work. I never am sorry that I have to be going to work on that particular day. It's my vocation in life. And my job particularly takes me away from my family about 25 weekends a year. So there's a couple people I want to specifically thank who are here with me. My new colleague who is going to be an awesome educator herself one day, Hope Bonner, who coaches with me at Lee Summit West. My dearest friend and my very first educational mentor, Kelly Morrill, who took a full of himself, smart aleck pup at Raytown South and taught him how to teach a group of kids and how to coach. My mom, Robin Good, who allows and helps me to raise these 3 boys. And then my 3 boys, Jack, Cole, and Grant, who have survived this reception with only 1 chair fall over and 1 visit to the bathroom. Boys, I love you. I miss a lot of stuff to work in this district, and I usually throw Dr. Herzog under the bus and say, I'm sorry, Dr. Herzog's making me work, boys. I'm not going to be there. So he does get a lot of the brunt for me, but I am so grateful that they understand that that time is for their dad doing what they love, or what I love. Thank you very much. I am so honored and so glad to be a part of the Lee Summit School District.
That does conclude our program. Laura, any instructions or directions? Don't forget your banners. Thank you for coming. Thank you all for all that you do. We appreciate you. Everyone have a good afternoon and evening.